So good evening, everybody, and welcome to this episode of Meet the Judge. And tonight I'm joined all the way from Serbia by Suncica Lazic. I hope I pronounced that correctly.
Hello, everyone.
Suncica is a very well-respected judge worldwide, judges all groups bar Group 10, is also one of the a very successful Rottweiler breeder amongst other breeds. I'm delighted you've decided to join us this evening. How are you, Suncica?
I'm great. Thanks for asking, and thanks for inviting me in this show.
You're very welcome. And before we start off, how is the situation in Serbia with COVID?
Pretty much okay. We have about 200 positive people per day, and this is on population on 8 million. So this is pretty much
very good.
Yes, and we have a huge number of vaccinated people, so I think it will be fine.
And have dog shows started back yet?
Yes, dog show started in June this year. So, but now it's too hot. We have terrible heat, about from 36 up to 40 degrees. So I don't know what is going on because I have no plans showing the dogs in this temperature.
Yeah, that must be very difficult.
Yes.
Particularly for the bigger dogs, I imagine, and you have Rottweilers, must be difficult to keep cool in that sort of heat.
Yes, it's difficult once you get, especially Rottweilers, they run a lot in the ring. So if you get on the sun and you run, and even if you put back dog in the shade, it's not easy to cool it down. So I prefer to stay at home in these temperatures.
Okay, so let's go back to the beginning of your career. How did you get started showing in dogs? Were your parents involved, or what brought you into the world of dogs?
Actually, it was just by myself. My parents, they didn't have dogs at all. So I started, I think my first dog was a German Shepherd without pedigree. And this is a dog that I was working a lot, trainings and everything. But then after her, I got first Belgian Shepherd, Grenendal, female, and Russian European Laika. So with these two dogs, actually, I started showing, and this is 1996. And in 1998, I already got 2 champions of Serbia, and I was showing also abroad in neighbor countries. This is my first.
Yeah.
Yes.
And that particular period, I mean, Ireland has had its troubles over the years, but I mean, Serbia had a difficult time during the 90s in terms of wars, etc.
Yes.
Did that affect dog shows?
Yes, it was difficult to travel. Not the dog shows actually in the country, but it was more difficult to travel and everything. It was difficult to find quality food for dogs and everything. But I was young at that time. I also got that help from the parents, so I didn't feel it so much.
Okay.
Like maybe more adult people.
Yeah. So Enrique Mate Duran from Spain says hello. Michael Forte is also watching.
I love this guy. I respect a lot. He's a great.
Yes, I interviewed him earlier, and he was great. He was great. So you moved into Rottweilers now. What drew you to Rottweilers?
This is difficult to say, but it's a breed that I love from my young age. I remember when I was a kid, actually, when I didn't have still any dog. You know, I was living in a building, an apartment, and there was in next building, it was a guy who got 2 Rottweilers, male and female. And every day when he was taking them out, actually, I was watching these dogs and I was dreaming and hoping that one day I will have Rottweilers. So pretty much it starts from early age. So this is, but generally, I love many breeds and I love to judge and to see a lot of dogs. But personally, to keep, I like working dogs. I like dogs, shepherd dogs from Group 1, from Group 2. I like Molossoid breeds. So let's say the Rottweiler, it's something that got everything what I need in one dog.
Tell me about Rottweilers now. If for you, what is the most important aspect of the breed, standard-wise? I mean, is it all about the head, or?
Well, I always look for the complete dog, and I think this is in every breed important. When we talk especially about large breeds and working breeds like Rottweiler's character, it's very, very important, because if you get a very beautiful dog and that is not clean in the head, that is aggressive or shy, then what is the point of his beauty? So we need everything. Also, if you pay too much concentration of the health, what is a health without the character? So we need everything to have a good dog. So also when I'm judging, I love to see complete dog, to have anatomy, movement, and head. If you don't have a nice head, what is the point of the nice body? Because I said always type, it's very important. How many times we have in Serbia, unfortunately, a lot of street dogs. And very often I see beautiful dogs, they are moving really great, but they are not pure breed dogs. So I said you can always find, even in the mixed breeds, nice movement and anatomy. But if you don't have type, if you don't have head, what is presenting that breed, then there is no point of everything. So we need to have complete dog. So this is also
point, actually. Yes.
breeding to get. Yes, it's not easy, but this is
That's a very valid point.
Yes.
And when you started showing, first, were there people that influenced you greatly, and encouraged you?
Oh, this is difficult to choose one person, because when I start showing, you always have some people that I don't know. I was following also at that time Rottweilers and some these breeds, but I cannot choose one person really, because you can learn all your life, and from each person you can find and hear something smart and something that you can use in your life. So, but I really cannot choose one person. It will not be correct, and I don't get in the mind just one person.
And just going back to Rottweilers and sort of breeding, when you're breeding, do you study pedigrees a lot, or do you use your eye and say, well, I think that dog is going to suit that bitch?
I use eye first a lot. I think, yes, pedigree is important, and I do study pedigrees, but not only pedigrees, because many times it's showed in reality, if you just watch the pedigree, you don't get nothing. So I think you need to watch the dogs, and you need to have also feeling. And sometimes just if I listen my feeling, sometimes you get a very good result. But it's very important how the dog looks. So that means a lot to me.
Okay. And just staying on Rottweilers and working dogs for a second, we very often see now particularly in Europe, Rottweilers, Dobermans, and working breeds been double-handled to perhaps an excess. Do you agree with that, or do you prefer them to be naturally stacked?
I prefer double handling, I must say. I know that this is, of course, it's forbidden on international shows, and the reason why I find it forbidden is because usually it's a lot of mess around the ring with these breeds, and this is also not necessary, because you will find also Belgian Shepherds with the double handling, but people will not notice because they will just on the side of the ring call the dog name and with some little squeaky toy. With Rottweilers and Dobermans, they just sometimes they overdo it. But why is happening this? Because it's very difficult actually to train dog to present on double handling. You need a lot of temperament and a lot of work. It's actually much easier to present a dog another way. And then if you don't have that temperament, then people are doing a lot of mess just to get attention of that dog. And this is where the problem is actually coming. So if you have a dog with good temperament, where is the problem if the person just call it from outside of the ring with not too much?
Yes. Yeah.
So that's why.
Going to the excess of throwing balls and I mean, you've seen balls.
Problem for other breeds, yes, absolutely. So this is the main reason why it's forbidden in international shows, and that's okay, because they do make a problem, and sometimes it's very difficult to stop people doing that. But in other way, this is not necessary to be done also in that way. So that's the reality.
So as I said in my introduction, you are a very successful Rottweiler breeder. And in terms of exhibiting, what would you say has been your biggest achievement?
It's difficult to choose one, but I have a lot of results with my dogs. I have some European and world titles, and I have what is very important on the breed important shows and specialty shows like IFR, like Aderka, Club Ziger, so there is. This is very important that in different level fields I have nice results, and not just with one dog, that every year with some dog from my breeding I'm getting results. So this is for me the biggest. So it's not just to say one achievement with one dog, it's actually doing every year, to having results, to be in the top, and this is for me actually what makes me satisfied. And this is all dogs from my breeding. So
yeah, fair enough. And when did you first start judging?
I was young. I was 2005. 2005.
Okay. So that was quite early after you started showing.
Very early, yes. I started very young.
And as I said, you judge all groups bar group 10.
Yes. Sorry,
Yes.
I just remember, not 2005, 2003.
2003. Okay, even earlier.
Yes.
And you were saying before, as we were chatting before we started the interview, that you just need group 10 to become an all-rounder, but you can't become an all-rounder in Serbia until you're 50.
Yes, that's a rule
which
of
is a
our
very strange rule.
It is, I agree. It is strange because I think it's not the matter of how old are you, but how long you are involved in the dogs and how long you are actually judging and what is your experience. But anyway, that's not too far. Another 10 years.
Another 10 years. You're making me feel old now. And when you started judging, can you remember a piece of advice that you were given that before you started judging? That really...
Yes, I can remember that. It was one national show in Serbia, and that was some older police guy that he was a judge, and he was written a good book here, German Shepherd, where was a very nice explained anatomy and everything, and I respect him in that field. And he came to me and he said, "Look, little girl, this is decision that you made must be just yours. It's just between you and God, and nobody else can mention, interfere in your decision." And this is what actually, and this is what I used all my life. I never liked to interfere. I love to listen people what they think, when we speak around the ring and everything. But when I enter the ring, I just feel I do what I feel. So this is
I think that's a very good piece of advice. And you say, as you say, when you're sitting at the side of a ring watching groups or whatever, certainly as most of us would when we're away judging, we will ask other judges about breeds that they will be specializing in. Do you think it's important for young judges to ask exhibitors of breeds, of older judges, advice on those breeds?
Well, I think the communication is very important matter. When I started, actually, I'm also young, but my older colleagues, they know we didn't have approach to the internet, everything. So you learn by traveling, by talking, by seeing dogs. You're going on world dog shows and you're running from ring to ring to see breeds that you cannot see in your country. But today you can do a lot of things on internet. But still experience that you get on the shows when you get talking with judges, with breeders, with watching, and with also experience judging, it means a lot. So I think that it just means a lot building you as a judge, as a character, as a knowledge and everything.
And so, do you think young people...
Also, it's important, as you mentioned, talking with the breeders. Sometimes it's important talking with the breeders, yes, watching dogs, but also listening, reading the standard and understanding the standard, because I find some famous breeders, they're doing some major mistakes in the breed, and they will tell you because they believe that it's absolutely right. So in many breeds, this is today the big problem, So I find also a lot of judges, young judges, they're speaking with breeders that are, let's say, important in the breeds, and then they're doing some mistakes because they didn't read the standard with understanding. By they listening, just the breeders there actually was wrong in some things. For example, I will give example French Bulldog collars, what is in the standard and what the breeders are doing. Breeders are accepting black collar. Black collar in standard is disqualification fault. So, and a lot of them will say, I don't mind that. You cannot don't mind, because if you're a judge, you have to judge by FCA standard that is in front of you. So
absolutely.
So that's the point.
Do you enjoy judging abroad?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
I don't suppose you have a favorite.
Like I mentioned before, because you see a lot of dogs, you can see different types also when you go on other continents, and also another part of seeing the dogs and everything, it's meeting the people and sharing constructive ideas and knowledge and everything.
I think also seeing breeds in their native countries.
Yes, exactly. Talking about that, for example, I was get an idea, like I have a lot of dog Argentino in Argentina, then I have a lot of villas in Brazil, and you cannot see so many dogs and these breeds in Europe, so this is really the special feeling that you can see that you can judge that, and it means a lot.
And aside from your own breeds, is there a breed that you really love to judge?
I love a lot Molossoid breeds. I am especially, let's say, Group 2 judge, and then I love a lot Group 5. But it's difficult, there is many dogs and many breeds that I love, so it will take too long just to mention each and maybe forget some. So I really love dogs and I enjoy judging and I enjoy all breeds. But let's say that my first group is Group 2, and then Group 5, and then Group 1. So I'll say that way.
And is there a fault that really irritates you?
This is difficult to say, but what is maybe the hardest thing? Many times happened to me in the ring. You get beautiful dog enter the ring, type and movement and anatomy and everything. Then you open the mouth and you see missing tooth. So this is, I think, the most irritating when you see winner entering the ring and just you find the fault that you have to disqualify the dog. So let's say maybe this. So. I love to see dogs that they're built very. Sometimes you can see in the ring people presenting dogs that have huge anatomy faults, and that's irritating for me, not for dogs, but the people, they're not noticing that and they're showing these dogs. So this is, and sometimes they're with a stranger, they don't understand what you are telling them. Also with dogs that maybe have entropium or something, and you explain and they look at you, they don't understand what is the point, why you define what you don't like. So this is not about dogs, it's about people that need to learn a little bit more before enter the ring,
and they try hide the fault with the trimming. They know the fault is there, but they try and hide it because they think.
Yeah, well, of course, we are not perfect animals, are not perfect. And first, when I'm judging, I'm looking at the dog qualities and then the faults. So I'm trying always to find the good things on that dog, and then find the faults, of course, that you can always find. And hiding the fault with good handling, it's absolutely okay. If this is not a major fault, of course, then it's a big cheating. So
yeah. And has there been a particular dog that you've judged that, in your opinion, is as close to the breed standard as you'll ever see?
This year that I was judging, there was a lot of dogs, so I will absolutely not choose one. There is in my breed some dogs beautiful that I have in the ring, but there is also in many other breeds. So, and this is a really beautiful feeling when you get such a dog in the ring. But I get it very often. So that's a beautiful part actually of the judging. when you actually, this is kind of dogs when you have a heartbeat when the dog enters the ring and you have idea, this is a dog that I would like to take home. Never mind what breed it is. So.
And that it doesn't happen very often.
Well, not very often, but still it happens. Yes.
And has there been a dog, past or present, that you've never judged but you would have loved to have judged?
I cannot name really the dog, because there is always some dogs when you see on the picture that you like, so you think maybe that, I would like to see that dog, but I will never even say that I will love to judge. Maybe some dogs that when I see that beautiful picture or video, so I will love to see the dog at live. Maybe not to judge the dog, but to be on the side of the ring just to see the dogs. So, but there is very often, especially talking about my breed, but also some other breeds, So just I think when you're a kinology person to the root, So I just enjoy seeing any beautiful dog every beautiful dog in any breed. So it will be hard really to choose some names.
And irate exhibitors, how do you deal with them?
What do you exactly mean by that?
Exhibitors who don't agree with your decision and then will come into the ring or will try argue with you.
Yes, because in different countries you have different kinds, and sometimes you can see just that they look at you in the bad way, but sometimes they will really come to you. And I have in Serbia a situation where they will come and they want to fight with you, they want to hit you, So this is a situation that can also happen. But I always stand still, as a judge. You have to show somehow, how to say, a level. So I never argue with them, because usually I judge with the critiques. If there is no critiques, I always explain why I rank some dogs. Always, if I give a lower grade, I always explain, but always, never mind how long time I have for judging, why I give the lower grade to that dog, So usually people understand, but there is always, of course, happening some misunderstandings. And this kind of people, actually, they will never understand, because if you tell them once, I always get some time and again explain, but many times people, they don't understand. So I just, give them chance to leave, or if they don't leave, just I write the complaint, and that's normal thing. I think we all once get in this kind of situation. So
yes, but not very often, thankfully.
Yes.
So in terms of your judging career, your biggest judging achievement?
Well, let's say maybe the World Dog Show in Germany, where in Lazic, when I was judging Rottweilers. Let's say my breed in Germany, that is native breed. So maybe I will choose this one. But there is also many others, So it's hard to choose. But I'm happy. I think for my age that I travel a lot, I judge a lot of shows, and I'm very happy to say that I know some really, really great judges, that I hear and listen and look at them judging. And I think this is all very important in building your own opinion and your own style and judging and everything.
Yes, and Leipzig was a great show.
Yes.
It was a great show, yes. And critiquing, you mentioned it earlier. Do you enjoy critiquing?
Sorry, critiquing. Yes, I do very much, and I think this is very important, of course, because the written critique, it's left for the owner or handler or whatever, to see why you place the dog where you place the dog. But also you spend more time and you pay more attention, judging a dog with the critique. So I am absolutely yes for that. Of course, I understand when it's a big shows and huge entries, sometimes you just no time for that. But also in that kind of situation, I always say a few words, why I choose one dog but not another one. It doesn't take so long like critique maybe to say everything, but the basic facts why I make that decision, I am using that, so the people know why I did something. But I think also if you are paying attention, if you watch the judge, you can always pay attention. You can notice what the judge likes, anatomy or movement or type. So I said also when I watch somebody, I get some idea what he likes in the ring and what is a type or whatever. So I think,
as you said earlier, it is very important for judges, and particularly if young people are watching this video back. It's very important if you are going to give a very good or a good to explain why you're doing that, because some judges will give a great critique and then say very good.
Mm-hmm. Yes. And then the people were wondering why.
Yes. But it is very important.
I always say this is the point. This is the reason why I give that. So this is pretty much. I always like to people when they're exiting the ring to be clear why I did something. So I also believe they paid entry. They spend some time. I am also exhibitor, and I know what is meaning traveling sometimes for all day or 1,800 kilometers and spending money and everything. And then you enter the ring, you get out in two minutes, and you have no idea why somebody did something or didn't tell you anything, or you just have. So I like to. What I like to see as exhibitor, how I like to feel, this is actually what I'm doing also as a judge. So I think
what you said earlier about, if you are judging in a country that do not have critiques, then give a short explanation as to why you've made a decision.
It doesn't take too long to explain, yes.
Because all you need to say is, I prefer this about this dog, or this dog is slightly better because. And in terms of the development of breeds, do you think judges have a role in that area?
Absolutely, yes. Because people are breeding with dogs, they're winning a lot, and judges, we are the one who are giving that titles. So for example, if the quality dog is winning a lot, this dog will be used a lot in breeding. And I know, especially in some breeds like Dobermans and Rottweilers, some breeds that change the type of the breed by years. Some dogs that was famous, they're getting a lot of results, and they have a lot of breedings, and you can see the change of the type coming from particular dogs. So I think it is very important, of course. And also if we are missing some major mistakes, this will also get in the breed, as a fault, and it will be very difficult to change in the future. It's absolutely the big role.
And also, sometimes big winning dogs, if they are put up all the time by judges, and they have a particular fault or a particular type that's not necessarily to the standard, that is not right either. And this happens from time to time too.
It's happening very often, actually, especially in the last time. This is a big problem, I think. But one of the reasons maybe I'll find that it's easier nowadays to travel, except the COVID situation. But we're traveling a lot. So one day I'm judging here, the next day I'm judging in another continent, and then we're mixing also. These judges are coming in Europe. So they don't see, they have different type of dogs, and maybe they're pushing some dogs, they are not correct type for Europe also, that we maybe, for example, I was judging in, for example, Philippines, and I get a boxers champion class. I got 20, 30 entries, I don't remember. It was a huge class, absolutely American type of boxers. And I was in a really, really difficult situation to get the correct one, because according to me, this is not a boxer, this is not the right type, but I'm judging in that country where this type it's acceptable, and I have to judge what I see that day, what I have in the ring. So this is situation. Then these judges will come here and they will maybe choose absolutely wrong dog, because of that. And then people I know in Dobermans nowadays, they start mixing also American bloodlines with European. With American bloodlines, you can have a the tooth with European, and then you have this kind of situation that is happening, mixing the types and everything. So it is a problem nowadays, a very big problem, I think, and it's very important to save the breeds, the original what they are.
And have you judged you said you judged in South America, for example?
Yes.
So if you come across breeds that are of exaggerated type in South America, for example, do you just judge what you have under you, or do you start to downgrade, for want of a better expression?
I'm talking now about types. If this is a type of what is, let's say, American type that is there, they breed, I will not downgrade that because this is a type that they breed there, it's difficult, because then what is the point to call you there? And if you have all dogs that type, but if I have type that I prefer, if I have, let's say, European type, I will always put the dog in the front. But in some breeds, you get that situation and you find yourself in very difficult situations sometimes to choose dog that just it's not a breed that they're supposed to be in European standard.
Enrique totally agrees with you that you should give an explanation when you make a decision, if you're not doing critiques. So he totally agrees with you. Now, when you're judging handlers, professional handlers, do you adopt a slightly different approach, or do you treat them just like an exhibitor?
I treat them all in the same way. For me, exhibitor, it's exhibitor. So I absolutely don't make any difference for me if it's a professional handler or if it's a dog owner or breeder. Actually, I love to see breeders in the ring by themselves. But of course, professional handlers makes our life easier to judges, let's say, because they present dogs perfectly. You don't have a problem, to approach the dog, to touch the dog, and to see the dog correctly. And many times you have owners entering with a dog that is beautiful, but they don't have idea how to present the dog, and sometimes they cannot pull the maximum from the dog. That's for me the only difference, But if the dog is really quality, I just pay attention on the dog. So.
And when you do get an exhibitor like that, a breeder exhibitor that doesn't know what way to present, how do you handle that? Do you help them, or do you just?
Well, for example, I was judging in United States big specialty for Rottweilers, the national competition, and the beautiful female entered in the ring. I don't remember which class it was, but adult female. She was high temperament. She was gorgeous, and the owner was so nervous. He was not able to show her toots, and then I bite and everything. So I was really sorry to see that dog, in the class. The other dogs was 2 grades lower than her, So I decided, I'd ask him, give me the dog. I put the dog to sit, and I did it by myself, So I was all shocked, But I said, for me, it's really sorry to see, because somebody just got nervous or confused, that maybe travel, I don't know how many kilometers for something that I can help and I can, do something. So I don't have a problem doing such a things. For me, this is absolutely fine. So of course, not anything else, but sometimes it's just okay. Sometimes the people can get nervous or something, so it's absolutely okay.
And in terms of giving something back to our sport, how important do you think that is as an exhibitor, as a judge?
Can you tell me a little bit more? I didn't understand the question.
I mean, you're involved in kennel club work, etc., etc. So how important is it to give something back to our sport?
It is very important, of course, but I still don't know what you exactly asked me.
Okay. Is it important for you to get involved in the organizational side of this sport, and how important is that?
It is absolutely important, yes. For example, talking about, for example, in our country, working kinology, it's losing a little bit on the character, because it's difficult. It costs a lot, and we have working competition for let's say IPO sport. It's just getting lower and lower entries. So I find it important that you give some help also from the kennel club, these people, or just to push them to keep it alive. Still.
I have a question from Susan White here in Ireland. She wants to know if you think breeds are moving away from standards too much now, and if so, how do we get them back?
It is happening a lot nowadays. Yes, they're moving a lot, but I still believe that there is breeders that maintain the pure standard, and I think it will not be the last story, but there is a big problem, in many breeds. So, for example, also nowadays they're changing also some breeds. For example, what is happening in Netherlands with the Molossus, with the French bulldogs, with pugs and everything. I think this will make a huge damage to the breed, but still it will not happen worldwide, and they will still maintain the bloodline of
and that brings me on to our next question. And you are, as you've said, you're passionate about Molossus breeds. But what's your view on how kennel clubs across the world have been dealing with this whole issue on health, on activists, and the whole? Are kennel clubs dealing with this correctly?
They get noisy. Well, that's a big problem because in many countries, and FCI also not dealing enough about that, and these organizations are very strong, and sometimes they're always pushing and asking for something. We all breeders are looking for the healthy dog, and I'm absolutely for that we have to do some, of course, tests, but they're getting too much tests and too much health checkings, and we're losing the type and some major things, because you sometimes have to get to find between, not to lose the dogs, because let's say maybe 100 years ago we didn't have all that checkings, but we still have dogs alive and healthy and everything, so we just find some middle way, to keep the breeds, to keep breeding, because they're very easy throwing out some dogs, out of breeding for some maybe things they're not so bad. So I think that we think twice before we make a damage to some breeds.
And do you think kennel clubs like FCI, Kennel Club UK, AKC, do you think they should get together and try and fight this? Because if we don't do something soon, it's going to be too late.
Yes, I absolutely believe, because this is, let's say, in this similar situation, for example, the new owner get a dog and they ask you some basic questions, and then you tell them, if you don't want your dog to get up on your bed, you have to teach it from the young age and never let him go on your couch,
Yes.
So once you let it happen again. When you let it second time happen, this dog will understand that he can do it, and he will do it all the time. So it's pretty much, they started step by step, and they are taking a lot now, and now they get to some level, they're winning a lot, they're getting whatever actually they ask, and now it's becoming very, very difficult to fight with them. And I think that we all have to join The problem is people are thinking they're not reacting as it doesn't affect their breed. You know, they think, oh, it's far away, it's not my breed. You know, so it's happening breed by breed. You know, and
yes.
this is a big problem, I think. So.
And the problem we are seeing here, I don't know about Serbia, but certainly the designer dogs like Labradoodles and Cockapoos, they are everywhere. This is all people want.
This is nothing that we can really do about, because we kennel clubs are working with pure breed dogs, you know, and so what you can do actually with the mixed breeds, you know, this is something that is, I think, totally out of our how to say, our hand or whatever. So I think that actually what the kennel clubs should do, or breeders, is just presentation of the breeds and to make people understand your breeding and everything, to get them more near. For example, again, I mentioned French bulldogs again. Now I see that it's very popular all over the world. This exotic colors, you know. So far, I didn't see good dogs in that colors. Maybe it's 2% of these dogs. They don't do any health tests, but people are buying that dogs like crazy. And I'm wondering why. Why people are so affected to get, I don't know, the blue Frenchie, if they can have a fawn, brindle, or pied, what is normal color, from the breeder that is reputable, that you have dogs that are health checked, you know, the dogs that have titles on the shows and they look really good, you know. But this is something that is really difficult to explain, and this is what is happening, you know. And I think that just breeders should present the dogs more, maybe do a little bit better, I don't know, marketing or something, so the people get more informed about that.
Yes.
I don't know how to explain that.
And do you think FCI should be talking to politicians a bit more?
FCI, I think, could do more work about this green organizations, and they make a big damage to the pure breed dogs, you know. So, for example, what is happening now with the brachycephalic breeds. So I think this is they shouldn't bother with the breeds with the colors that is not in the standard with the dogs. They don't have pedigrees and something. This is actually something that it shouldn't be our problem, you know, but making problems to the pure breed dogs, you know, and making some restrictions in breeding, and this is a problem real that we have to pay attention on that.
Okay. I've somebody asking here now, when you're choosing a puppy from a litter that you've bred, what is the most important element for you?
First that I have, it's when you approach the litter, usually your eyes get on some puppy, you know, but it's always everything, you know. It must be first, of course, type and head and eyes. It's first that you see when you approach the puppies and puppies are sitting or jumping. First, what you see actually, it's head. But then I take puppy out and I see if he's healthy, if he's moving, if his temperament good, character good. So it's pretty much everything that we look. But let's say the first approach, it's always the head and how the puppy look at you, you know. So let's say the type and then the other things.
Okay. Okay, so 4 dinner guests that you must have at a dinner party.
Oh, I will escape that question.
You can have more than 4 if you want to.
No, it will take too long, but pretty much all people that I love and I respect in this world, I always meet them, or they came to me, or if not, I meet them in their home or some other places. So we pretty much enjoy the dinner and everything. So it's really difficult, and I will not like to choose names, because it always happens that you can forget somebody. And of course, it's not that person that we feel bad. I will feel bad. Oh, I didn't mention that person that I will actually love to mention.
With politics.
So I'm not the politician.
Okay, so is there a judge, breeder, or handle that you really admire in the world?
Of course, there is. Okay, I'm not so much. Let's say focused on handlers, you know. There is a lot of them. They're really good in their job. Judges, of course, there is a big list of judges that I admire a lot. But again, I will escape naming the people. just because there is a lot of people, and I just, like I said, you know, it's not okay. You know, I will miss somebody and I will feel bad after that. So I will not love.
Okay, so you must have a breeder you admire.
In which breed? In my breed or
in
other
any breed?
breeds?
A clever breeder.
No. I mean, even if I say some names in my breed, maybe it will mean nothing to you or the people that are listening. But also, it's not okay to do just one person, so I will do it.
Okay, we'll move on. So your funniest or most embarrassing moment as an exhibitor or judge?
Well, let me think. Most embarrassing or funniest? Well, there was a lot of this kind of moments, but have to remember some. It happens few times when I was showing the dogs with Rottweilers, of course, that I fell down in the ring. So the last was, I think, 2 years ago with a Rottweiler when he pulled me out in the ring. I really fell down on my face and he pulled me out totally. So I was, and it was a little bit wet and muddy. I stand up, I was totally dirty, my face and everything. My pants was ripped, so it was really embarrassing. And it was in the Best in Show, and he was one, let's say, a favorite to be placed. So I will remember that for sure. Yes.
Did you win?
That's really embarrassing, yes. But at the same time, also funny. So.
Did you win?
Not in the Best in Show. He won the group. He was in the lineup for Best in Show because he saw something. He just pulled me when I didn't expect. So.
And if you hadn't started showing dogs, is there a sport you would have liked to have done?
Sorry?
If you hadn't started showing dogs, is there a sport you would have liked to have been involved in?
I love playing sports, but I was never really something involved so much that I will, let's say, be in something really, the real sportist, So I don't know. I'm with the dogs from early age, and I love actually active breeds, to run with them, to work with them. I like to play other, volleyball and tennis and everything, but just nothing professionally. This is just for fun and just for and I was doing actually IPA sport with the Belgian Shepherds when I was doing them. But again, when I was breeding them, but also this was not that level that I was going to compete, So I was working a lot actually. That time I started monitoring in Serbia. This is actually something, let's say that. But again, this was with the dogs. So what you asked me was not the dogs.
How important? You keep mentioning working. How important is it for you to work the dogs?
How important is to work?
To work the dogs, yeah.
I think it is very important for some breeds, but working breeds actually, it's very important. And some breeds they just ask that from you. For example, if you have Rottweiler or Belgian or Doberman, this is dog that needs work. They needs to have psychologically to get interacted. They need interaction. I think so. So I think it is very important for some. For some not. For example, if you have Chow Chow, you have nothing to work. You have to brush and to take a dog in the walk, but this is not really work. So it's pretty much a lot about the breed that you have.
Okay.
Sorry. For example, when I have Belgian Shepherds, as I'm breeding them for them, Malinois especially, they need to use energy somewhere. So if you don't do that, they will be very destructive. They will all do a lot of things. But if you I said making in the right way that energy, then you will have a really good dog. So with them, it's very, very important to have activities, to have them think and do some work, because it means for them a lot. So in that time, I was working monitoring and IPO and some, and you see the dog, that enjoys that, So this is.
And if you had to leave Serbia, is there a country you'd love to live in?
Oh, there is few of them. I like Spain, I like Italy, I like Portugal a lot. So I like pretty much southern countries where the sea it's near, the nice temperature, warm, and there is a lot of seafood.
Okay.
Right. Yeah. I like Indonesia a lot, but I wouldn't live there. Actually, this is beautiful place, and I'm visiting every year. Bali, and it's really great country. But for living, I think European countries they're
Mediterranean.
No, raining.
Okay, so before I ask your last question, I did pull a few photographs, and I'm going to ask you about them because there's one. Tell us about, where was this?
Mm-hmm.
Where was this?
I don't see any picture.
Oh, okay. Nothing come up?
No.
Okay, I'll try another one. No.
I see now.
Yeah.
This is Indonesia. This is kako se zvalo? Bandung. 2 years ago.
One hell of a rosette.
Huge. It's a huge rosette. Yes, that's the same show.
This is Best in Show, was it?
No, actually, it was maybe placement in the Best in Show, third or
Wow.
fourth, something. Yes, huge rosettes, yeah.
And also, you were obviously very involved with
parrots.
parrots.
This is Kiki, Pinky, and Vasa. Yes.
These are yours, yes?
Yes, it's mine. I love them, and I have also a lot of small ones, but these ones are hand fitted, and they're actually very, very attached to the humans, and they're talking and dancing, and they're very lovely and very noisy, of course.
And do you just are they just pets, or do you actually breed them?
They're just the pets, Maybe the two pink cockatoos, they will have something in the future. They're still young, but still they don't show this intention. So if it will be absolutely fine. Just
tell me about this. Where was this?
This was Philippines, Manila. This was a Philippine circuit, and I have a break between judgings, between two shows. So I went. I love in these countries especially to see animals and the nature of the country. I love to see. So we went in one park that was gorgeous.
And birds obviously like you.
Yes, and I think this is Bali Bird Park.
Okay. So finally, Suncica, if you could write your epitaph, what would it be?
Epitaph. Well, it's
a long time away, but
let's say I didn't regret for anything in my life.
Fair enough.
I enjoy, really. I do what I love, and I'm surrounded with animals and with the people that I love. So this is the most important, actually. And I really enjoy what I'm doing. I love dogs, and I'm spending time with dogs. I love judging and traveling and meeting people, and I'm doing that. So I'm happy.
Yes, you can see that when you're judging, because you can see that you really do enjoy it, and you take it very seriously.
For me, it's important that exhibitors can see that, because also when I'm showing, I love to see that judge enjoy, what he's doing. So.
Okay. Well, listen, thank you very much for joining me tonight.
Thank you very much.
It's been fascinating. I know that people have been enjoying it very much on Facebook, and I hope you and yours stay safe and well, and that we see each other sometime, maybe next year, when showing starts properly again. I
really hope that this will come back to the normal, maybe next year, so that we will start seeing each other normally.
In the meantime, thank you everybody for watching. My guest next week will be Wim Wellens from the Netherlands, who is again very respected judge. In the meantime, thank you very much, Suncica. Enjoy the rest of your evening, and stay safe.
Thank you very much. Stay safe.